I'm Allie Craig, and I'm traveling across the country to fix the heartbeat of the modern economy, the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are like no other business. It isn't just about selling a product or a service, it's about selling the experience, the relationship, and speaking to the social stories that hold the hearts and subconscious minds of our audiences. And it's these fledgling brands that must be designed as much for their audiences as it is for their authors if they're going to break the statistics and make bank. Having fixed countless brands over the last 20 years and worked with hundreds more entrepreneurs, founders, and startups, I know that I need to do something radical to get these brands and their founders back on track. Because in this age of social media where everyone is a critic as well as an instant expert, your business and audience can boom or backfire overnight. If I have any hope of saving these brands and transforming their businesses, I have to get these entrepreneurs to embrace the experience they are really selling and escape the mindset that all they are is just an offer. Hey everybody, this is Allie Craig. Welcome to Fix My Brand with Allie Craig Season 2, almost Part 2, because we're going live with the brands to see where in the world they are now. Because even though we stopped shooting officially last April, you know, brands evolve, people evolve, lives evolve, and let's get to the reality of what really worked and what didn't. So today we are talking about, well, we have the most 3 creative brands that we have for Season 2 with us. We have Gina Bell, we have the amazing Sylvia Becker-Hill, and the fabulous Dr. Megan Todd with us. And, you know, really, for Season 2 so far, let's see where the brands have been.
People are so turned around by their creativity and their overproductivity. Right now we live in a culture that is obsessed with generating. We are all about the to-do list. We are doing more than ever, and we are taking in more information, and we are busier than ever. And we don't not do the work that matters because we don't care about it, or we're not thinking about it, or we're not trying. But oftentimes we are so in the forest. We can't see the forest for the trees.
It is all about the creative. If she can settle on that and feel like the structure is a structure of growth and evolution, then we will have a very successful brand.
You know, where do I want to be in a year? Wow, those are some powerful questions. And I want to be reaching a lot more people. This is going to be an emotional journey.
I'm hoping that she realizes that her strength, her passion, and her reach are so much greater than just the Chicago area.
We are in the phase of looking deeply, deeply, deeply into my soul and are searching for the treasure to capture my essence. Whom do you adore to work with? That this simple answering what my desires are, what I want to do, what I adore to do, what I love to do, that this is so damn difficult.
Okay, that is where all these fabulous ladies come from. And every single one of you, from the brands that you came in with, we had on some level create a new perspective for the way you saw your work and your audience saw your work. Greatest struggles with that?
I think through the Fix My Brand process, it was like, you know, when you go to the eye doctor and they put all the different lenses in front of you, it was like you put the right lens in front of me, and from there on, like, everything started to get clearer. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. Still a struggle, but that part is clear.
We have clarity. That's always good.
For me, the biggest struggle was really the trust issue, because I had rebranded several times. I had invested so much money and so much time, and each time something was missing. I always felt that the brands were either not clear enough or not big enough to encompass really everything I'm all about. I always felt like a limb was cut off, one arm or one leg, right? So to not bring that kind of fear from the past and my nervousness into our relationship and really, really trust this wonderful, crazy woman completely, that was a challenge for me. And it was like a red thread. Every time I was able to trust you more, interestingly, like magic, I was able to trust myself more. And that was a beautiful thing.
I think the photo shoot in Orlando last year, trust was created. But I think what really sealed the deal was the media one sheet that we created for you for that podcast event you were going to.
Yes.
There was a lot of back and forth, and I had to come to you and say, just let me have my creative way. I'm like, you're killing my creator heart right now. Let me just have my way with the one sheet. And I promise you, if in the end it fails flat, I will completely change it to what you want. And what ended up happening at that event?
It was absolutely perfect. My one was considered the most beautiful, the most iconic, the most outstanding ones, because all the others were following a formula, all produced by the same agency, so they looked all more or less the same. And I think what was also part of the challenge to overcome was my old corporate head, the old corporate box, because I wanted certain information which is needed in the corporate world to be on it, which would have destroyed the style. So I'm glad I was able to let that go and truly trust you.
Me too, girlfriend. Me too.
And I think sort of piggybacking on that, coming from an academic background primarily, being able to kind of code switch in terms of speaking to my audience, and really not thinking about my brand as me, but a certain expression, but a means to connect and create relationships. And I think that thinking about the brand and marketing in that way has been really powerful.
And getting clear on what you really wanted. Because coming in, you had an audience who wanted you to do things that you're fully capable of doing, but not things that lit your soul on fire, basically.
And I think that was even reflected in the style. I remember Sandy was like, she tried something on, and I was like, it's okay, like, I like it. And she's like, no, it has to be a clear yes.
Exactly.
And I was like, all right, I get it. And so because that energy is powerful, right? When there is clarity and precision, it's powerful. So that's been a big takeaway from Fix My Brand.
Which actually leads us perfectly into the idea of owning your true brilliance. That was something in the beginning every single one of you were struggling with. Let's see what that looked like.
So the skates, I have this metaphor about the skates. And I think that women wear like a million different types of hats, right? They wear the mom hats, the daughter hats, the wife hats, taxi cab driver, whatever. We're wearing a million different hats. And I don't think we're really moving through life wearing hats. I think we're moving through life wearing like several different pairs of roller skates, because roller skates make sense to me. They move fast, they move slow. Sometimes you're holding on to the sides of the roller rink wall. Sometimes you fall on your butt. I needed to find my skates, like the skates that would connect me with my creativity. Those are like the custom-made skates, the skates we're all born with, right? They're just the most dynamic skates you've ever seen in your life. And when you're wearing your skates, every strobe light's flashing, every disco ball is moving, the DJ's playing your favorite song. For so many of us, we wear the mom skates or the wife skates or the taxi cab driver skates or whatever skates we have to wear at that moment. And we don't realize that wearing the skates that keep us grounded in our creativity and our imagination and help to keep us rooted are the most important pair of skates you'll probably ever wear. So yes, I go roller skating, I wear skates, and it is a reminder to me that I can be me first.
Owning our brilliance. Sounds so simple, right? Sometimes far from simple. What do you think was the reason why you couldn't own it, see it, be it, do it, live it, all that fun stuff?
I had a huge private challenge in the middle of our beautiful process. Both of my parents in Germany, dementia, and I'm the single child, so caring for them around the world and traveling a lot back and forth simply dropped my energy. I had jet lag issues, I was sick a lot, and with my low energy, suddenly my ego got kicked into high gear and self-doubt came up like crazy. Things I had worked on years ago came back up because I was just so really crawling on the floor energetically. And that triggered the fraud fear. Oh my gosh, here I am, the big empowerment mentor for other women, and teaching them how to be successful without killing themselves. And I felt close to that. Yeah. So that was just brutal. It was brutal.
So owning your brilliance. Tell me more about what I'm not.
I don't think you still do that sometimes, Miss Dr. Megan Todd. Like,
I am committed to being of service. So in some ways, I forget sometimes to put on my own oxygen mask, if you will. And so I wonder if that's part of what you're asking about.
Your skates.
My
your
skates.
first.
I think especially because of your background, you have such a diverse background. You have academia, you have all the degrees, you also have all the certifications of everything from yoga and woo and everything in between, that I think you forget that there's just a core ability, that none of that mattered, that you have a unique creator gift. And I say creator, not creative, because there's a lot of people who are creative in today's age, which means you had the right pieces and you could put something together. Right. But all of you ladies are creators in the sense that you can see something out of nothing and then make it come to be. And that's where I think, still to this day, I think you doubt yourself on that and that brilliance.
I feel like when I go into processes with clients, like I'm very sure of it, but I think it's in the marketing and it's in the stepping out there and the brand that it's been a slow marinating process for me, maybe more so than all the other brands.
Well, it's that you have to own it. And that's actually the struggle about marketing altogether, is that if you don't, just like you were talking about, if you don't feel like you are it, if you feel like, oh, this is just something that anyone else can provide or anyone else can do, or it's not really me, anyone could be this, then you do feel like a fraud. And then you aren't going to step out, and you're not going to fully.
I feel like I don't feel like a fraud, because I feel very grounded in what I do. I feel like it's in terms of seeing from a bigger perspective, which I feel like is what this process has really brought me, is being able to embrace, being able to cultivate a successful business, right? I'm confident in the skills and the creative process that I work with folks in. But it's really that business and entrepreneurial, owning that brilliance.
Well, not you, but okay. We're still working on Dr. Megan Todd. Someday we'll figure it out. We promise. We swear to God.
Lifelong process.
Yes, it is. It's a lifelong evolution.
My thinking is that this entire year, so this past year, I've been reflecting, and I think for so long I was waiting for things to be just right to move outside of my comfort zone. So I wanted things to be this way or that way, and then I would move outside of that space when they were just right. And I think that on the abandoned overpass, if anyone's seen the video or even the pictures of that, I just decided to honor what was inside of me and to jump, to go for it without letting anything hold me back. So having a glimpse of that doesn't mean I don't get totally freaked out and crazy scared about all sorts of things, but it has helped me to go to the roller rink and skate, even though I barely remember how to. You know? Like, you know, some of your team will tell you they had to like save me from going down. You know,
we'll protect the cast any day.
Yeah,
crew is sacrifice.
But I think once you do it, it's like, oh, and you have people that believe in you, that are with you and behind you. It changes the energy and it makes you feel like you're more capable of going outside into that space more often, if that makes sense.
Completely. Because what have I always said? Branding is a deeply personal experience, and this is all an evolution. Your brand should not be the same in 6 months, in 8 months that it is today, because you should evolve, your audience will evolve, and so it's always about refining it and getting clearer and clearer and clearer.
Amen.
Now, in getting clearer, though, we had to get clear on really what mattered to your audiences. So let's see how that fun process turned out.
So oftentimes creative people are like little idea machines. They spit off ideas, and it's very difficult to say, I'm going to put some of those ideas into the idea parking lot and be able to let them rest there for a while so that I can move with one idea and bring that work out in a powerful way that can make an impact.
Who her audience has been, which has been a bit more woo, more yoga instructors, massage therapists, healers, and all of that, they don't pay. And Dr. Megan Todd would like to be paid, because that's what we all want in the end. We all want to have money in exchange for what our services are. Not because we just need money to live off of, but because it's also a way of showing respect and appreciation and valuing that our innate gifts actually do matter to this world.
It's about that like catalyst energy. It's about generating the work. And sometimes you can't quite do it yourself, right? Like sometimes you need somebody to come in there and say, this is amazing. Like for what you want to do and how you want to bring this to the world and who you want to serve. Like this is beautiful. This is powerful. And really start to strip away the rest of it. Because oftentimes, even though we can do that for other people, we're not as good at doing it for ourselves.
So having work that we love is one thing. Having work that we love and our audiences love is the actual perfection of a brand, because that's what's going to get us money. And sometimes that was challenging. And I'm just going to start with Dr. Megan Todd.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
Because that was a struggle, girl. That was a struggle.
It was. The struggle is real. It is. Wait, what was your question?
So the question is that, you know, there is sometimes, like, you had a unique vision of exactly how you saw your work and how you spoke about your work.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, but see, that's not how your audience speaks about the work that they need. And then there was a great struggle of where is that balance where it's authentic for you and still captivating for them.
And so I think it was actually about creating what I call the infrastructure of shine, right? It was about creating the process and really sort of distilling the elements of the process that I take clients through and being able to articulate that. It's like stage one, the vision, stage two, you know, the content, and then the people, and then finding that structure and developing the product. So that's really, I think that distillation process for me was key to being able to help people on their journey in a much more clear way.
And allowing yourself to be okay with the fact that you didn't have to serve one-on-one everybody at every process.
Yes. Yes.
I think that was huge.
That was major.
Yeah.
Because now I realized, through this structure I can take people through either in a group process, and the plans are to do a DIY as well, but then to be able to offer some more selective services when people get through those first stages. And so that was really powerful.
And getting, because that's where your heart is. You're like, you know, we have to technically get through step 1 and 2, but your heart is to serve those people who are kind of in that deeper element and really help them generate work that matters.
Right.
You know.
But for me, it was so important about not leaving people behind.
Exactly.
I want to be able to help everyone, like not everyone, but to be able to serve and to not be so exclusive in that way. And I feel like by creating this process, I know that I can serve and help people through, and then also do the work that really lights me up and be of service.
Yeah, it's a holistic approach for your audience,
Yes.
but yet I love that you finally decided and own that where you want to spend your one-on-one time
That
and that
structure of shine.
Exactly.
Stage 4.
Exactly.
That's right.
So with you, Sylvia, I mean, we decided early on that, as we call it, the California entrepreneurial approach was not going to be the approach that we took. The e-products,
info products.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so your heart, it was really to have a school, even when you were a little girl.
Yes.
And so let's talk about how that is when it comes for your heart as well as for your audience as well.
It was a magic moment. I mean, this one simple word of school, it was like this clicking when you have these 1,000 puzzle pieces on the table and then you put the right piece in the middle and everything clicks. That was the word school. And suddenly I had my brand, which was finally like an umbrella big enough for everything. And to my surprise, my old tribe, my past clients, which I was a bit nervous, how will they take it that I make this big switch? They all immediately got it, I think, better and earlier than I, because they knew I have 2 university degrees. They know I have read over 10,000 books. So for them, it was like natural. Yeah, now Sylvia has her own school. So they got it, seriously, they got it earlier than I did.
You're like, duh, how did you not figure this out before?
Exactly, it was so natural for them. So for me, and that's still currently a challenge because I worked for over 20 years in person in the offline world, now to create a school which starts online. Yes, the long-term vision is to have a beautiful building in Southern California and have live events and live courses, but we start online. So translating now all my content and didactical approach into online, that's still something where I'm a bit cautious, and I'm very glad that we gave us more time with the launch and doing now a beta test run where I will have the live feedback from students and the proof that what I love, they love it too.
I have a feeling it's going to be that way. I think your audience is going to be like, duh, Sylvia, we've been there all
We've been waiting for you.
Yes, waiting. I have to catch up with my own brand.
Exactly. But that's okay. That's okay. So, Gina, you completely changed from the woman who said that I'm a creative life coach, and I hope you understand what that means.
My voice in the video was different. And I think my whole thing was, like, I needed to learn how to dream bigger so that I could teach other women how to dream bigger. So if I wasn't dreaming big enough, which I wasn't, so enter adventure days, then I wasn't going to be able to help anybody else to dream bigger either. So,
Well,
it's huge. That's huge. And you can't always see it. So having someone that can help you see it, and then having someone that can help others to see it is amazing.
Well, and that's
Good
what
stuff.
every single one of you guys have a lifestyle brand. And I always said, like, okay, the joy of a lifestyle brand is in the end, you're going to have these tribes of clients behind you who are with you, supporting you, and are embodying your work, your vision. But in the beginning, you're the tribe of one as you're starting to grow. And either way, you're the leader with all these women behind your back in the end. And sometimes that can be a struggle, especially now when our tribes are smaller and we don't have this like fierce force of people behind us. So let's see what embodying your lifestyle brand is really all about. Sylvia, like most women, we're hardwired for community. We want to be connected. It's part of our biology, because if we don't have friends, we're going to get kicked out of the tribe. And so for Sylvia, she wants that community as well. But that's where the struggle is. If you're truly a leader, if you're truly a revolutionary, guess what? It can be a lonely road. You're not going to have a community of other revolutionary women right around you. So my reminder to Sylvia is, this is truly the brand of your dreams. It comes out of the core of your inner child of who you have always been. And in doing that, you are the leader, and you have thousands of women behind you, walking, supporting you. But you have to be brave enough to lead, even though you may really want the community around you. It's that inner strength that I know she has that she must always remember.
So symbolically, to really bury my old business together here with my friends, we have a little burial ceremony, and we just burn it. I don't want to nurture a graveyard, so I thought it's much easier to just rip it apart, say F you, right? You didn't work. I loved your essence, but your look, your branding, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Time to go. Woohoo! There she's shrinking and shriveling. Yes, superwoman. Go. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. I'm letting go of the past, opening the space and the doors to a much better future. Starting now.
The superwoman is shrinking away. She's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And then fully stepping in to the brands you amazing women have created. What is one thing that now from your old brand you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done earlier, because it's so you now?
Well, it's the up-leveling of self-care. I get now massages regularly. I get facials. I up-leveled my self-care through the roof. And that started really with our first time in Orlando, because you made all of us feel like $1 million bucks. And that was, I feel choking up. It made me really realize my own value. Yeah. So self-care on a really high luxurious level, and with that setting better boundaries to my corporate clients. And recently, with the new year, I up-leveled my prices. Because,
Woo-hoo! Love up-leveling prices.
because it reflects of what I deliver and the results my clients get from me. And it started with higher self-care.
I was hoping that for Orlando, guys.
Yes.
It was all intentional.
Yes, and I have to, yes, same thing. That's in terms of self-care as being primary. But I think also just trusting.
Oh, that's mine.
Well, it's probably because we're fellow meditators. But trusting like my own center and my own voice. And I think, just your tree images like we were talking about were so resonant because of that, feeling rooted and meditation, but just trusting your own voice and filtering and really checking in with like, does it resonate?
Yep.
And if not, like it's a no, it's a clear no. It's not maybe this can work. It's either yes or it's a no.
And it can be more of a challenge as you go out because
Right.
you're starting to see everyone else, and then you start, it's just natural human nature to be like,
Right.
well, everyone else does it that way. Everyone else is supposed to think it that way. It's like, don't
Right.
do what everyone
So
else
it's
does.
that clarity, that clarity and sort of anchoring into self and values, right? Yeah.
And I think my trust is actually a different type of trust. But I totally see where you're coming from. But mine was to trust people in my circle that are experts at what they do so that they could help me to grow. So that's huge, being able to say, okay, I'm going to sort of let this happen organically and try not to, which isn't always easy. But
You did really good. You did really good. I'll be really honest with you. You
try
did really
not
good.
to push anything too much. And when I was trying to name the book, I was pushing, and it wasn't until we got on a call one-on-one that it just came from experiencing things together. So
But that's actually how most everything on all of these brands got created. Generate work that matters.
Right.
Book Tears to Tool, from Tears to Tool.
yeah.
Evolutionary living.
Exactly. Like it's never.
Yeah.
I would love to say that this was on some level there is a structured process, of course. But oh yes, between 9 and
Right.
10, Dr. Megan Todd and I are going to have a conversation about what the name of her new brand. Yeah, that's not happening that way. Creating your brand, it's a lifestyle, it's an evolution, and yes, the thing is, it all starts with you. So self-care and staying grounded in what you're about is critical. So that way you don't go off track and you keep moving forward leaps and bounds by everything that you're creating and doing.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with our audience, because it's a struggle. I mean, owning your creative brilliance is one thing, and then going out there and really being willing to embody it, that's also another struggle everyone has. So thanks for being so open and honest with us. And next week, we have the amazing Cassandra Shepard with us. We are talking about how she went from her full-time corporate job and took her side hustle into a full-time, well-paying career. Wait till you see where this woman is now. She is doing amazing things. You will not want to miss next week's episode.